Hello everyone. In today's class, we are going to study the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. The poem is composed by Leslie Norris. Dear students, Leslie Norris's full name is George Leslie Norris. He was born in the year 1921 and died in the year 2006. He was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. He is considered as most important Welsh writers of the post-war period, and his literary works have won many prizes. His famous works are Finding Gold, The Loud Winder, Phoenix Living Poets series, Ransoms, etc. In today's video, we are going to study one of his famous poems, and that is A Tiger in the Zoo. The poem written by Leslie Norris explains the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. The poet has tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. So, dear children, let's begin the poem. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rays. Now, first of all, we will see the word meanings. Dear students, stalks means follows, vivid means bright colored, pads means paws of tigers, and rays means anger. Now here the poet says that the tiger that is confined in the zoo, confined means kept in the zoo, moves. Stalks means follows or moves around in the cage under his bright colored skin. Okay, vivid stripes means there are the narrow lines on the skin of the tiger. He further says that the tiger can take only a few steps because the cage is small and it is not easy to move in it. One cannot hear his footsteps because he has very soft feet like velvet, because of which there is no sound of the tiger's footsteps. The tiger tries to control his anger by quietly walking in the limited area of his cage. He is angry because he is not free. Okay? So, dear students, now we will see the poetic device used by the poet in this stanza. First of all, the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme, as I told you, is the rhyming pattern of the words at the end of each line. So, the rhyme scheme of this stanza is AB, CB. Let me explain it. See, the last word of first line is stripes, second case, third quiet, and fourth raise. Now when we recognize the rhyme scheme, we take the alphabet. So stripe will take A, case is not rhyming with stripes, so it will become B. Quiet is also not rhyming with the above two words, it will take C. Now raise. Raise is rhyming with case, so it will take B. Now we will count the alphabet together. It becomes A, B, C, B. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B. Next poetic device is personification. The tiger is personified because the poet refers him as he, not it. The poet used the pronoun he for the tiger. Next is metaphor. Tiger's paws are compared with velvet and without using the word like or as. So the poet has directly compared the paws of the tiger with the velvet. It means here the poet has used a poetic device metaphor. Next is enjambment. Enjambment means sentence is continuing to next line without any punctuation mark. And you can see here the sentence in the first stanza that continues in the next line without any punctuation mark. Which one? He stalks in his vivid stripes. Next is imagery. Poet tries to create an image about the tiger. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. This line gives us the picture of the tiger in the zoo. Consonance. Consonance means use of consonant sound. Okay. And here the poet has repeated Repeated means the prominent, the S sound, the S sound is prominent here. Where? In this line. Stalks his stripes. Stalks his stripes. Next poetic device is assonance. Assonance means when the vowel sound is prominent in a line. And here I sound is prominent in this line in his vivid stripes. Next poetic device is oxymoron. Oxymoron means use of adjective opposite in meaning. When two adjectives are used together and they are opposite in meaning, that means oxymoron. And here the poet has used the words quiet and raise. Quiet means calmness. Okay. Silence. And raise means anger. So anger and silence both are going together. It means the poet has used the poetic device oxymoron here. Now let's move on to next stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plum deer pass. Okay. Now let's see the word meanings. Lurking. Lurking means to be hidden as to wait for your prey. And here the tiger is hidden because it is waiting for its prey. Alright. Now let me tell you the paraphrasing of this stanza. The poet says that if this tiger was free, he's just imagining. If the tiger would free, he would have hid himself behind the long grass near the water bodies so that he could easily catch a deer in order to have it as its food. Basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle where he could catch his prey and eat it. But the tiger in the case cannot do so. So here the poet's sympathy is with the tiger which is kept in the zoo. Alright. मीन्स पॉइंट का कहने का मतलब ये है कि टाइगर को फ्री होना चाहिए जंगल में, ना कि जू में, बिकॉज जू में उसको एक लिमिटेड एरिया मिलता है वॉक करने के लिए एंड द टाइगर इज मेंट फॉर जंगल, फॉर फॉरेस्ट, नॉट फॉर द जू. Now let's see the poetic devices used by the poet in this stanza. Rhyme scheme is same A B C B. Enjambment line continues to next line without punctuation mark, and that line is sliding through till deer pass. Next poetic device is alliteration. Alliteration, use of sound P at the start of two words, plum pass. And when there is the consonant sound is repeated in two words which are nearby, it means alliteration has been used. Plum pass, the per sound repeated. Next, the same imagery. The poet has tried to create an image of tiger's activities by using the phrases lurking in shadow, because basically जंगल में क्या होता है, टाइगर एक छाव में छुपे होते हैं लंबी घास के बीच में, ताकि वो अपने जो उनका प्रे है डियर, जब वो वाटर होल के पास आते हैं पानी पीने के लिए, तो उन पर अटैक कर सके और उनको किल कर सके. Now let's move on to next stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Now here, first of all, we will see the word meanings. The word snarling. Snarling means warning sounds made by animals. Baring means uncovered, and fangs means sharp teeth of animals. They are called fangs. Dear students, here the poet says that if the tiger would have been free, he would have snarled around the houses located at the outskirts of the forest. Outskirts means edges. मीन्स पॉइंट कहता है कि अगर वो टाइगर फ्री होता, जंगल में रहता, तो उसने अभी कहाँ होना था, जो जंगल के किनारे में खड़े होके जो लोगों के घर हैं उसकी तरफ देख रहा होता. He would terrorize people with his sharp tooth and claws. जो उसके जो दांत हैं, शार्प टीथ हैं, उनसे डरा रहा होता. This would create fear among the people living in the villages. And what happens when the tiger does so? The people are afraid of the tiger's that snarling sound. Now let's see the poetic devices. Rhyme scheme ABCB is followed in this stanza also. Enjambment is there. Line continues to next line without punctuation marks. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Okay. Onmatpiya. Onmatpiya means using words which denote sound. And here snarling words, when we hear this word, it means the sound of the tiger comes in our mind. जो गुर्राने की आवाज है वो स्नॉल वर्ड्स को सुन के एकदम से हम उस साउंड को महसूस कर सकते हैं. Next, assonance. Assonance, use of vowel sound O and I is prominent here, should around houses and bearing his white his. Next is consonance. Consonance means use of consonant sound. Okay, when the consonant sound is prominent in the sentence, that is called consonance. And his fangs, his claws, the consonant sounds sir. S का जो sound होता है sir, that is prominent. So the poet has used consonants also in this stanza. Now let's move on the next stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. First, we will see the word meaning. Concrete. Concrete means building made of bricks, cement, sand, and water. Now, the poet comes to the reality of the tiger that is inside the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in a strong cell, which is made up of strong building material. अब पॉइंट वहीं पे दोबारा वापस आ जाते हैं जू में कि जो टाइगर है जो जू के अंदर है उसका जो जो वॉल बनी हुई है वो बिल्कुल कॉन्क्रीट है, कॉन्क्रीट से बनी हुई है. He further says that as the tiger is behind bars, so his ferociousness is also behind the bars. जो उसका एंगर है वो भी वहीं तक लिमिटेड है. जो किसका एंगर? टाइगर का. He just stalks in the cage. He never tries to terrorize the visitors because his power is restricted by the cage. Therefore, he never tries to terrorize the visitors as he cannot attack them. So here, the poet tells us the plight of the tiger which is in the cage, that the tiger which is in the cage cannot terrorize the people, cannot terrorize the visitors because his walking area is limited there. Let's see the poetic devices. Rhyme scheme is same A, B, C, B. Okay, A, B, C, B is the rhyme scheme of this stanza. Personification, the poet has personified the tiger using he for him. Next, assonance, use of vowel sound E. Here, he logged concrete cell. E sound is prominent. Consonants, use of consonant sounds S. So, his strength bars. Repeated. Alliteration, use of sound B at the start of two words. Behind bars. B sound is repeated here. Let's move on to next stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Word meanings. Patrolling means to guard, to whistle. Like the police, they patrol at night. They patrol the city, they patrol the town, street at night. Now, here the poet says that in the night the tiger hears the sound of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are the vehicles of police which are used to guard at night. So, in the night the tiger hears the sounds of these cars. He then stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes. The poet wants to say that the tiger is sad, and as he is confined in the cage, so he cannot do anything. Therefore, he stares at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards them. Means when he finds himself helpless, तो वो और कुछ नहीं करता है. जो साउंड्स रात को सुनाई देती है उनको सुनता है, और या फिर आसमान में स्टार्स की तरफ देख के अपना जो अटेंशन है उसको डाइवर्ट करता है. जो उसकी प्लाइट है मिजरेबल, उसको डाइवर्ट करने के लिए द टाइगर sees towards the sky and stares at the stars. Now let's see the rhymes, literary devices used by the poet here. Rhyme scheme is same A, B, C, B. Enjambment is also used here. Line 3 continues to line 4 without any punctuation mark and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Alliteration is also used. Use of sound H in the starting of two words. He hears. her sound is repeated. Assonance, use of I sound, is prominent here in this line. With his brilliant, I sound is prominent. Okay. So, dear students, that's all for the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. Please watch the video again and again and try to understand the meaning of the stanzas and also the poetic devices used by the poet. And if you like this video, please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.